Mr. Robinson, this is the last occasion we'll have to talk to you in Hearts and Minds.
You
may know that the programme is coming to an end. I want to ask you to reflect a little bit. I think there's a bit of revisionism creeping in, may I suggest. I mean, you talked in Dublin a few weeks ago about the Good Friday Agreement being a significant development. This is the document which your predecessor, Ian Paisley, described as treachery. You said that unionists were slow in 1972 to realise that some form of power sharing would be inevitable. Your party was largely instrumental in the downfall of the Sunningdale power sharing agreement. I wonder if you're indulging in revisionism.
Well, first of all, I think there will be very few people who consider the use of the term significant event, which I think is what I said, who will consider that it isn't appropriate to use that to the signing of the Belfast Agreement. Whether you like it or whether you don't like it, it's still a significant event, and one which...
You wouldn't say treacherous?
Well, I believe that it was wrong-headed completely. I think I did say it was treacherous. I suspect I said much worse about the Belfast Agreement. To sign up to an agreement which allowed people into an executive while they were still, their organisation was still involved in terrorism, still involved in gangsterism, I think was absolutely
Of course,
mad.
You condemned the Alliance Party for boycotting the CSI. You boycotted the agreement and the Stormont for many years, of course, didn't you?
Yeah, we weren't prepared to sit down with those who were still involved in terrorism. And that was the whole principle at St Andrews about the change that took place that made it a successful political process. That's why the Belfast Agreement process failed. That's why it collapsed on 4 occasions.
What about the statement
about 1972
We succeeded
because we had stable
unionists?
Government through the decisions that were taken by the DUP at St Andrews.
What about the statement about 1972 union? You include yourself in that you were slow is probably putting it mildly, to recognise that some form of power sharing would be required.
Well, I think it's very easy after the event, as I have, to be able to look back over history and say if we had done this, that or the other, things might have been different. And I think there is a recognition that there are things, it'd be a very poor politician, in fact it would be a dishonest politician, who would look back over their life and say, I wish I'd done something slightly different there, I might have had a better result.
Would you apologise for making those mistakes?
I don't have to apologise. I'm recognising and acknowledging the fact that there are many things in our past where all sections of our community, if they'd taken different decisions and
you might say if I'd had more insight in 1974, we might not have had 30 years of conflict.
Well, whenever you're in a conflict, and when people are trying to kill you, and kill your neighbours, and kill your community, and when your constitutional position is under threat, then the first view that anybody has is to defend their position and to ensure that their community is secure. That was the priority in those days, and we obviously wanted to get the very best deal that we could for our people. So I think when you live through those issues, you can well understand how people take the decisions they do at the time. In reflection, in the calm of our present circumstances, which we can now enjoy, it is easy for us to look back and say, I wonder if we'd done this, that or the other thing, would it have been different?
Mr. Robinson, it's always been a pleasure. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much indeed.